Hello and welcome to Book Review on Trust TV. Now on this show, we talk with African and international authors, review books and adaptations while inspiring especially the younger generation into inculcating the habits of book reading. I am Sumaya Abubakar and today we will be talking about the book Through the Needle's Eye. But let's take a short break, and when we come back, you will get to meet the author of this great book. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Book Review on Trust TV. Now, reading is an act of civilization. It's one of the greatest acts of our civilization. That's because it takes the free raw material of the mind and builds castle of possibilities. Books are uniquely portable magic. Now, our guest for today is a creator of a magic. He is a development journalist and an entrepreneur. He is a graduate of French language from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and a trained journalist from the International Institute of Journalism in Abuja. He founded the Arise Igala magazine in 2010 and started the annual Arise Igala Leadership Awards and Lectures in 2014. And he is, of course, an author. Onoja James Okpanachi, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Onoja.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's talk about this beautiful book. I mean, the name, let's start from there. The name is something, I love the title. It's quite catchy. It says Through the Needle's Eye. That explains, anyone that knows needle would say, okay, that means a detailed analysis. How did you come up with this particular name?
Yeah, the story itself, the story contained in the book, give the book its title. It's Through the Needle's Eye. Everything in the book. More so that it's a memoir. It's about a journey from dream to reality. So the process.
Indeed, I saw the caption, you know, from dream to reality. So tell us, what inspired this book?
Yeah. At a point, while we're traveling from the point zero through various stages to where we are right now, there were many ups and downs. Taking off, there were so many things we never imagined we were going to meet on our way. We met them. Many hurdles we met. And I was thinking that it would be unfair not to document my experiences on this project. Having done a decade plus, it would be unfair not to have those experiences documented. Because many people that are meeting us at this point would think that it was all a free ride, it was all good sailing through to this point. But no, we have to document this so that people reading will know that, okay, there was a process. We started from a point, and this was how we started. This was how we went, these were the things we went through getting to this point. So basically.
Okay, so tell us about Through the Needle's Eye.
Okay. Through the Needle's Eye, it's a memoir. It captures my journey about the dream to start a project that is unique to Africa. Then you talk about Nigeria, then you talk about Kogi State, then you talk about the Igala people. Looking at it ordinarily, you find some difficulties about the audience. The audience seems to be limited when you talk about Igala people. Then, how are you going to sustain this kind of project? Starting as a magazine, and we started off as a bi-monthly magazine. We are still doing it till date. The first edition hit the shelf on the 29th of November 2010. And since then, we have been consistent. Never a day that we stop. And then you can see that it is very, very important to document a story of this kind of journey, particularly at the point that we are starting, that many people doubted the possibility of our takeoff. Then we took off. Then they said we'll not be able to stay long on the journey. And today, here we are, 13 years plus down the line.
So what you spoke about, the journey of a project, and that project is you creating, say, a platform for Igala people to, come and meet. What's the aim of, creating that group, and has that intention behind you creating, that particular project? Yes, has it been achieved?
Okay. Talking about the goal for the project, it's something that it's a process. The achievement comes in phases.
Okay.
It's not something that you hit the goal and you say, okay, I've hit the goal. Now I've made it, let me return to another project. It's a process, something that will be sustaining what we are out to do. For instance, we thought at the initial stage that gradually the language is going into extinction. If nothing is done about it, years to come, we will not be able to maintain the language. And you can imagine, as far back as 2010, we set a goal and we say by 2045, we want to achieve so and so. And people were looking at us, in 2010, we were setting a goal for 2045. And gradually, we started, and it's going. And then, we knew that it was not going to, we're not going to stop at the print level. We're going into various phases of the media so that we'll be able to start achieving the goal of how to sustain, of how to retain this language, our culture, the uniqueness, the values of the people, how we'll be able to sustain them, keep them for continuous use. So we're achieving them gradually.
Indeed, it's a bold step, Onoja, right there. I'm considering that, when you look at how the generation is now, we're quickly, we easily let go of our cultures and forget our languages. A lot of us don't really understand our languages these days, and we try to emulate the Western part. But how are the Igala people receiving, this project of yours of trying to make them retain the language and the culture in general?
Positive, very positive, because since we started, the project has inspired many other projects. And today, you go to social media, go to any platform. In fact, move around, you see our clothes, you see the Ankara, you see the one they call Ashebi, Achi in Igala language, you see the Ashoke, you see all of them like that. You see the Igala brand everywhere. Part of the things that the project inspired. And today our people venture into doing programs that promote the culture, that promote the values of the people, that promote the language. And we're happy about that. So the response has been positive.
Okay, interesting. So let's talk about, the book, the contents of the book.
Okay.
First, I would say what I understand, what I got from the book when I started reading it was that it carried a lot of, should I say, deep words, huge words. You didn't use the words of a layman, someone that would easily pick a book and read and understand it like fluently. There was a lot of challenging vocabulary that someone needs to go back to the dictionary. And if I understand you, your audience target, to read the book are the Igala people majorly, even though you want other people outside Igala to read and understand and know the value of retaining culture and language. But how do you think people would cope with that particular one? What was your intent? Because I know that every author or every person going into a project, if you're venturing into a project, you already know the intent behind it. So what was the intent behind using those huge vocabularies?
We're talking of those high-sounding words. Intentionally, they were not designed to come up that way. Maybe I would say the experiences on the road inspired those words. Maybe best way to describe those experiences gave birth to the need to bring those words in the process of writing the book. And it's from feedback like this that I get to know that, there were lots of such words. But I am happy that the feedback so far is that people get to understand and get the message. Beyond those words, they get the message. And talking about the audience is beyond the Igala audience. The book is about someone's experience on trying to get from point A. The point A is the dream point, to the point B, the destination, which is the reality. Now, it's about life. Igala people exist in the world. They are not an island. So it means any human being that pick up the book will be able to relate to the book, because it's about human experience. It's just that I happen to be an Igala man. That is why I use my immediate environment and the project as the base, as the environment for the book.
Okay, so let's say I'm a reader. I'm picking this book to read.
Yep.
What do you wish that I get from this book?
Primarily, process. Life is about process. For anything you want to do, if you jump, you will fall. That is the primary lesson. Life is about process. For example, everything we are talking about today, after the idea, the dream, and everything, I needed to start. And I knew from the beginning that it was going to take a whole lot. But the seed money I got was just 40,000. And I started from an uncle. After sharing the idea with him, he had on him 41,000 and he let go of 40,000. And 40,000, I had to travel from Kogi State to Abuja to start some legal process and complete. And I had to move. So it's about process. I want people to understand that life is about process. Check out the history, the record of every successful people. Go and check. It's about process. Things don't just happen. Yeah, miracle happens. But if any miracle comes into your life and there's no process, you are not prepared, forget about it. It will go the same way. You must be prepared.
It's a really inspiring, message to want to put out there. We're looking at the new generation that wants, or should I call them the Gen Z, that wants everything quicker, and you don't have time for that, retenancy to take it carefully, step by step. So in a world full of books, people are even finding it difficult to pick a book. But before we even go into that, people prefer to pick a book that it's all about fairy tale, giving a dream of what. Yes, exactly. So you were bold, going for a memoir to pick it and say, I want to write something about the process. What has been the challenge for you all through the process of, writing to publishing this book?
First, being a memoir, the challenge is you are not writing a fiction. Then you are faced first with how do you present the stories, because there are some stories here that are tough ones. How are you going to tell the story? Because some of those people that the story concerns, they are still living. By the time they hear or read about their life or their connection with the author of the book, how are they going to take it? Do you leave them out? If you leave them out, then the essence of the book is no more. So first, the story itself is a challenge, majorly. But if the book must be out, then I have to put the story out. I crossed that hurdle, the story came out, and then we move to the next phase, which is the editorial work, then the publishing and the release of the book, making it public.
Okay, so you mentioned that, the Igala people welcomed the book very well. Yes. Yeah. So how about the people, outside the Igala people? How has the sales been so far?
Tremendous. And we are rounding up another phase, which is the audiobook. Because from the feedback I'm getting so far, there's a pressure on us right now to round up the audio version of the book, so that we can put them out there. And the feedback are even coming in from non-Igala. A lot of feedback are coming in from non-Igala because of the level of promotion we've been given the book, and they are relating to the book. So it's a good one so far.
Indeed. So this is your first book?
First book, Yes, first major book, because I had tried my hand on a particular book, an anthology, while I was in the university. Yeah, that was some 20-something years ago at Ahmadu Bello University. I tried my hand on an anthology. So, but to see a major book, yeah, this is the first major book.
Okay, so what should we expect from you, say, after this?
Yeah. Well, this book, Through the Needle's Eye, still has a lot to offer. We are working on a documentary, a docu-film, coming out of the same.
That's interesting, you know, considering that here we talk about books and adaptations. I mentioned that earlier. So yes, I was curious. I wanted to ask about that, but now you're giving us the tea of what's really going on. So you know, there's sometimes it's really challenging how authors, especially in Nigeria, are coming out making great books, but then nobody approached them to turn it into a film, a documentary, something that would be able to reach everybody. Okay, so that's a good thing. Tell us more about
We're already on that, and we have a timeline for each stage, and as soon as we round up the audio version of the book and it's out there in the public, we'll move into the documentary part of the book. And we really want to do it because we want people to really get to know the story, like I told you, to understand that life is about process. So we not just want it to be in the print form and leave it there. For as many who care to go and read, either pick the online version to read or listen to the audiobook, we want them to watch also. And
let's talk about reading, picking a book to read. People don't like picking books these days, even though there are lots of people that are still into, you know, picking a book from the shelf. What is your take on that, and how do you call on people? People nowadays find it more easier to go to, you know, ebook online, just take it out and read. And we know that the feel of book, you know,
it's entirely different.
It's different.
It's different.
So as an author, as someone who writes books and who loves to read book, what is your, you know, advice, your call for people that don't really pick the book, especially the younger generation?
Honestly, I would say there's almost no alternative to not reading the hard copy. Even though the soft copies we get, we have access to, we read sometimes, it's very, very interesting and all this thing. But like in my own case, each time I read a book, particularly an interesting book, if perchance I meet the hard copy of the book, though I have read the book, I will still want to pick the hard copy.
Indeed.
And keep in my library. I do that a lot. So it's a thing that if you are used to reading hard copies of the book, you get the real feel of the book, and it helps you to get into the author's mind, to feel the experience, to get the lessons faster by the time you are holding the hard copy. Though these days I read a lot of online version of the books very well, but except I don't see the hard copy, I will buy it.
And I can relate with that. There's been a situation where you read something online, and then the moment you get the hard copy, you're looking for the last penny. You have to get that book.
Exactly.
A really interesting conversation, Onoja. But let's take a quick break, and when we come back, of course, the show continues. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are with the author of the book Through the Needle's Eyes, who is by the name Mr. Onoja James Okpanachi. Okay, so Mr. Onoja, you were telling us more about, you know, the love for picking a book and reading it. But there's the generation this generation, should I say, they don't even like to read book at all. You know, it's all about spending time on social media and all that. What would you tell them? You know, what would you tell them to inspire them to go pick a book? People need to know why they should carry a book and read.
Generally, I will call on everybody to be concerned about reading books, to encourage the younger ones to start reading. Because not reading is doing not a lot of harm, because most of the things that we celebrate today, they are end products. How they came to be, most time our youth don't know. But the people that produce this thing that we are using today, they read a lot, they research a lot, and we just want to stop basking in the euphoria of the end product. Meanwhile, the people that are producing these things, they read. And so many secrets, so many things are still being hidden in the books. So for us to know and be better, the only option is to read and keep reading and never stop reading. So we must encourage everybody. If we must grow, reading is inevitable.
Indeed, Mr. Onoja. Okay, so right now we would want you to pick, the book. Get one of your, say, a favorite line or chapter that you would read out. Just a teaser, for the reader or the viewer to know what to expect when they pick your book. So what chapter are we going with right now?
Okay. Let me read the first and second paragraph.
Okay, what page?
Page 10, page 1.
Okay, let's go to page 1 then. All right,
01, the introduction.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very important to me.
Okay.
And let me go.
Okay.
The only things we had when we set out to create the most powerful media company in Igala land through the Arise Igala project were our unadulterated ideas, unwavering passion, fortitude, and resolve to change our generation and leave a future worthy of the future generations. For us, it wasn't about the customary assigning of blame or tabulating the number of individuals who had attempted to position and reposition Igala land for a successful future but had fallen short. It was up to us to start anew without complaint or whining on a blank page.
Okay, let's stop there, and I want you to explain this paragraph for us, even though you said you want to take the second paragraph as well. Okay. Read it through, then you'd explain it deep for us.
Okay, the second paragraph. We know that the path to greatness is paved with obstacles of varied degrees, but what separates winners from naysayers is the capacity to overcome any obstacle. Winners are therefore not those who have never encountered challenges. Rather, they are those who, in spite of obstacles, oppression, confrontation, and humiliation, rise above the fray to leave their marks on the altar of greatness.
A very powerful word there. Okay, so tell us, why do you pick this and what does this really entails? Because the essence of our program here is, book reviewing. So explain to the viewers what you really meant by this.
Okay, like I said, that the primary objective of the book is to get people to appreciate process and to embrace that life is all about process. You don't jump. If you jump, you must definitely come back. So the reason, that is the reason why I had to pick these first two paragraphs in the introduction.
Okay.
Now, the first paragraph is talking about not staying back, complaining, not to start. The point is you have to start from where you are. The dream has come. Don't wait on the dream. It's fully formed. Everything needed for the dream arrived. They will never come. They will never come. You have to start moving along the road. The things needed will begin to come your way. If you are in point A, the things you need at point B will never meet you at point A. You have to move by all means from point A to point B. Then the things needed for point B will meet you at that point B. They will never come to meet you when you're at point A. So are those things at point C, D, E, F, and so on. So life is about movement, but you have to start.
Considering, this generation keeps it's about pointing out the problems and not finding the solution. And I think I saw, a line or two about that there. So you pushing out, the people, pushing out the society, telling them, you need to find solutions, not keep ranting. The problems wouldn't just leave just by you stating it.
Exactly.
Okay, any last word for the viewers, Mr. Onoja?
Yes. Life challenges will never leave you. They will never leave your way, except you don't want to succeed. Go to your house, sleep, don't do anything. And when the year ends, your landlord will come, send you out of the house. You will not have food to eat. But move out of your house, move out of your comfort zone. Go get the dream. Go transform those dreams to realities. And as you are out of your house, out of your comfort zone, don't expect that it's going to be a jolly ride to that destination. There will be a lot of obstacles, but definitely have your eyes fixed on the destination.
A powerful last word. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Noja James Okwanachi. I hope I did justice to the name. Thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
All right, viewers, you can get lost, of course, in any library, no matter the size. But the most lost you are, the more things you will find. And this was said by Millie Florence, Lydia Green of Mulberry Glen. And that is it on today's episode of Book Review on Trust TV. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to always read a book. Until next time, bye.